welcome to the Red Kelly Cast. I'm your host, Moth, and with me I have Colton.
Hello.
As usual. Today, we will be engaging with our reformist tendencies.
As a Marxist-Leninist party.
As a Marxist-Leninist party. And we will be scientifically ranking all of the Australian Prime Ministers. We have come to the conclusion that the best categories we could possibly use are not good, crypto-fascist, class traitor, useless, literally who for some of them, fine, and I could change them.
And we'll be going through every single Prime Minister as well, even the ones that you haven't heard of. Most of the ones that you haven't heard of.
There were plenty I had not heard of.
So we're going to be tackling them in chronological order, which leads us to our first boy, Edmund Barton, Protectionist Party, 1901 to 1903. Significant things, I don't know, federated Australia, tariffs, nation building. Didn't believe that racial equality was part of human rights or the equality of man. So he's a crypto-fascist.
Yeah, we start as we mean to go on. The Liberals and their predecessors pretty much by default get crypto-fascist.
All right, moving on. Next up, we got
Alfred Deakin. He had 3 terms, lucky him. Protectionist Party for 1903-1904. Protectionist Party again, 1905 to 08. Then Fusion Liberal to 1909 to 1910. Introduced some big social reforms like minimum wage and a pension. Great, awesome. Was a loyalist to the UK. Yeah, that's kind of to be expected of early Australian PMs. He also drafted the White Australia policy. He's our first in the not good tier.
played a role in forming the Liberal Party, working with anti-communists as well. Next up, Chris Watson. He's our first Labour boy. Back when they were, good, when they were actually a trade unionist party and not a neoliberal hellscape that they are now. Trade unionist, labor, social reforms, things like that.
This one was a hard one to tier.
White supremacist as well, so he gets a not good. George Reed.
Okay, sticking to Chris Watson for just a second. We liked this guy for a while. We liked him. And then we see he's a massive white supremacist, which shouldn't be a surprise. Still very unfortunate, not good tier.
George Reed, liberal lawyer, first leader of the opposition, opposed 3 PMs, part of the Free Trade Party.
He proposed 3 separate PMs for him, 4th one. So we gave him the useless tier. Yeah. He was a leader of opposition for that long. Took him that long to get in. Useless. He's just a politician. We really couldn't find anything special on him.
Andrew Fisher is up next. He's our Australian Labor Party guy. Second one, 1908 to 1915. Bit of a social democrat than a trade unionist. Had to call election after a year and called a double dissolution to resolve a deadlock. What does that even mean?
That means the Senate and the House of Representatives both had to be completely dissolved.
Yeah, right.
Had to get new representatives in for all that. And just get an entirely new bicameral body to fix everything.
Great.
First double dissolution got that out of the way real quick.
Yeah, also notable for kind of taking the Labour Party and really moving it into that neoliberal landscape. So he gets class traitor as well.
He's our first one, first of many.
Next up, we got Joseph Cook, serving Prime Minister during World War I, Liberal leader. So that's a crypto-fascist.
1913, 1914. Started World War I, not interesting. Crypto-fascist. Next, Billy Hughes.
Billy Hughes, he represented 6 political parties from 1915 to 1923. Started in the Labour Party, moved to the National Liberal, and then to the Nationalist Party.
Yeah, that one guy was able to go from ALP in a straight line and end up on the National Party. I think it can show how nationalist Labour was.
Yeah.
But it can show a contradiction within Labour and that it had that nationalist tendency, but also it had a bit of a conflict within it trying to fight that tendency a little bit, because he did leave the party over this.
So is he a class traitor or is he a crypto fascist?
We put him at crypto fascist because he chose to he chose to go from there to nationalist.
Great. Take the worst parts of the Labour Party and be like, hey, I really like what's going on here.
Yeah,
right.
but the Labour Party, of course, were no saints and still are not.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Stanley Bruce, nationalist, 1923 to 1929. Heavily anti-worker, tried to abolish the Court of Arbitration and Conciliation. Not good.
No, not good, not good. Personally, I look at these people that, like, when they take this heavy-handed approach to these things, I'm just like, come on, you've got the power of the state behind you, what are you doing?
Yep.
Not good, and I also think you're a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
Next up, 1929 to 1932, we got Labour MP James Scullin. Only thing we have written down, moderate.
Honestly, we could have put this guy in...
Class traitor.
Yeah, we could have put this guy in literally who?
Yeah.
Maybe we should have looked more up about him. He's just moderate Labour, okay, that's class traitor.
Great. Joseph Lyons, crypto-fascist, United Australia, not the one that we're thinking of. 1932 to 1939, notable for leaving Labour to be more conservative.
And also for dying in office.
Yeah.
Yes, dying in office. So that leads us to our first, what do we got this? Literally who category.
Yeah.
That is Earl Page, part of the Country Party from 1939 to 1939. So what's notable about the Country Party MPs is that they have very small, I was going to say sentences, small terms, because by the Liberal and Labour Party, our two, main parties, have an agreement that the Country Party will be in the interim.
When there is
Oh no, Labour Party's not part of that agreement.
Oh.
They don't need to be.
Okay.
Yeah, the Liberal Party, or the National Party at the time, and the National Party now, which was the Country Party at the time, basically the LNP, they have an agreement that their second, their deputy PM, which wasn't actually a role at this point, it was like it just kind of agreed upon thing. Their deputy PM would always be a country person. So like, if say Malcolm Turnbull died while he was PM, a country MP would have taken over as deputy.
All right.
Next up, we got one of I guess the villains in the history when analyzed through a communist, and that is Robert Menzies, part of United Australia, still not the one that we're thinking about, from 1939 to 1941, and then Liberal from 1949 to 1966. Founded the Liberal Party.
He was, honestly, of all of these, he's the first one that is super worth talking about, other than like Edmund Barton for for Federation and these kinds of things, and like the ones that have done the occasional funny thing or just like really historically significant thing, because that 17-year term, he really set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
He could really set the tone for what Australia would be for really the rest of the 20th century.
Yeah.
So it sits comfortably in the not good category.
Tried to ban the CPA, love
Yeah.
the British. It's just it's all bad. It's all bad.
Not great. Another interim minister from 1941 to 1941, 39 days, Arthur Fadden, Country Party interim. Then we got John Curtin, ALP, World War II, noted for, working with America and not for America during the war. He was actually a socialist growing up, trade unionist, local boy for us here at the Red Kelly Cast as well. And I would say I could fix him. Yeah. I could fix John Curtin.
Yeah, he's the first one and one of very few we put on the I can fix him tier. We love him here. Not really.
Not really. No, I wouldn't go so far to say that.
We love him here. Asterisk. Big ol' asterisk there.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Frank Ford, 7-day prime minister, ousted by ballot, lost it to Curtin by a single vote. So, once again, not really much going on there.
Yeah, poor guy got on the useless tier because he lost his leadership ballot to Curtin previously by a single vote. He lost out on this. He lost out on being PM for more than a week to another leadership ballot. So useless tier just by dint of being not very good at being a politician.
Great. All right. Then we got 1945 to 1949. We got Ben Chiefeley from the ALP, taking kind of continuing on from the stride with our boy John Curtin. We got a man who preferred to do things like use strike breakers and scabs and kind of once again cement the ALP's anti-unionist actions.
Oh yeah.
Class trader through and through.
The class trader category is pretty much here for Ben Chifley. Like, it's his and his alone.
Yeah.
And next up we have a bit of a fan favorite. the only liberal politician that I like because he wasn't in for long and he did something hilarious, which is Diet C, Harold Holt.
Yeah, died in office. That's about all we know about him. Little did he know, well, cheeky bit of a crypto fascist. This guy, just by being a liberal member, he just did liberal things. A bit of social work and progressive policies at the behest of the party because of the demands of Australia, but still, yeah.
He seemed like less of a reactionary liberal.
Yeah.
I was not there in 1966 to 1967, which means unfortunately I was not there when he said to his press secretary, "Look, Tony, what are the chances of a PM drowning or being eaten by a shark?"
John McEwen, he was the interim minister after Harold Holt. So once again, another country boy.
He was in 22 days. Literally who? John Gorton.
John Gorton. Yes. So what's this? 1968 to 1971. Vietnam. How did he handle that?
Oh, he handled it with great finesse. No. Cracked down on those protests. He dismissed any internal politics that opposed the war, spied on activists, all the good stuff. He gets a not good. We hate this guy.
Yeah.
Not good. William McMahon. So that's next. So that's our 1971 to 1972. Many actually call this guy Australia's worst prime minister. A lot of it due to optics more so than policy. We actually got him in the useless category because really didn't do much damage to Australia, but did things in office like stealing tape decks and apparently like just being super rude to people, but Gough Whitlam really liked him.
Yeah, his colleagues said he was a horrible leader, horrendous person, all these things. Gough Whitlam in high praise for him. So I'm thinking how I read that is he was a horrendous politician. His party is like, he keeps losing his elections. Because he lost to Gough Whitlam in a landslide.
Yeah.
And he kept stealing everyone's stuff. Just, he's useless and this tier is made for him. But I kind of love him for just being just horrendous at his job in such a funny way.
Yeah. And then straight out the gate, we probably our favorite prime minister on the list. We got Gough Whitlam, Australian Labor Party, 1972 to 1975. So cool that he got ousted by the CIA.
Hooray!
Probably the most radical. Opted for free university, no fault divorce, land rights, etc.
Yeah, he's our favorite. He's got eyebrows to rival Brezhnev. Honestly, we love him for so many reasons.
So yeah, top of the list with the I could fix him for sure.
Yes, I could fix him.
Still a Labour Party candidate.
Still Labour,
so,
yes.
Yeah. Malcolm Fraser. Pretty much had to clean up for Gough Whitlam. Recognized land rights in the Northern Territory. This is pretty much just following from Gough Whitlam's examples, but still a Liberal member.
It's hard to find much information on Malcolm Fraser, despite him being in for 8 years. So the only thing saving him for being in the literally who tier was the 8-year term he had.
Exactly, and yeah, so we'll just chuck him in the crypto fascist sphere.
Liberal crypto fascist, throw him in the pile.
Yeah, throw him in. All right, we got Bob Hawke. He's a guy that drinks a beer.
Oh yeah.
Man for the workers.
Yeah.
Labor icon.
I wanted to like him for this.
A college just down the road named after him from this very studio. Yeah, ALP 1983 to 1991. Super socked them. Did a funky thing called the Accord, but really just slammed him into the class trader category.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Accord, this is kind of the first of the big three, I guess modern, we'll say, because it got like the Eureka Stockade, but the big three industrial relations acts, the other two being Fair Work, Australia, and Work Choices. And yeah, they're really good at defanging unions. The big one in this case with the Accord was kind of the Labour Party going to the trade unions and being like, hey, what if we teamed up? We could get more done, and then completely screwing us over in the couple of years. Yeah, neoliberal policies and a Soc Dem package. Once again, it stings a bit more with this guy though.
It hurts. It hurts. Yeah, he's in class trade. Not a surprise to anyone. I misspoke earlier and said it was made for Ben Chifley. No, this tier was made by Ben Chifley for Bob Hawke.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, absolutely.
He was almost our Reagan, but he's supposedly Labour.
Yep.
Defang unions, deregulated the financial sector. Horrible.
Yeah. So next we got Paul Keating, ALP, is another Labour, 1991 to 1996. Went for the Republic. So,
he's fine.
which, Australia didn't want, apparently. Hi, Editor Colton here. So with Paul Keating, we kind of glossed over him a little bit, just focusing mainly on his stance on making a republic. By no means does this exempt him from the class trader tier. Unfortunately, under his watch, we've seen universities no longer be free, as well as implementing Bob Hawke Accord arrangements as well. So next up, from 1996 to 2007, we got Liberal boy John Howard. This is the first one that I remember because this is when I moved to Australia and he got elected. Actually, this is the first one where I was actually alive. Oh no, yeah. Yeah, not good.
Oh yeah,
at all.
yeah.
George
it's
Bush.
him and he was part of that trifecta of George Bush, himself, and Tony Blair. They just got hard on the idea of just ruining countries.
Yeah,
oh my
absolutely,
god.
yeah.
So really set into actions all the despicable things that NATO stands for. Iraq being the big one. Super anti-immigration reforms, stopping the boats, getting that whole narrative going in. Work Choices Australia as well. That was another big one. So, yeah, really taking the Accord and being like, hey,
Let's make this worse.
yeah, we could really screw over workers. Thanks, Labour. We'll take that off your hands and we'll absolutely create a hell state for our industrial workers.
This is basically work choices. I'd say definitely look up the Accord, look up work choices.
Yeah.
Work choices, to my reading, is really just let's show the workers why they were right to be freaked out by the Accord.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why they were right to be really not really happy with the idea of being defanged and losing their militant unions.
Yeah, so taking that one step from defanging unions to be actively oppressing workers and giving the employers the ability to do that, which leads us to Kevin Rudd, 2007 to 2010, and then 2013 to 2013. So, yeah, Labour is in shambles.
Leadership. Yeah.
Apart from that, his first protocol was actually to repeal work choices and to implement the Fair Work Act.
Yep. Good job.
Which I don't know, at first glance it's super hard to tell if it's better or not because man, it's a fair bit to get through. We're talking about things like collective bargaining, enterprise agreements, and things like that. So it's better, and to kind of summarize it, it's better, it's by no means reversing the damage that the Accord set in place. It's continuing on from the Accord.
The unions are still defanged. We could have another John Howard do what John Howard did again.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Fair Work Act is of course a lot better than work choices. It's not good. It hasn't fixed the problem.
And I think in a future episode we're definitely gonna actually cover these three things in more detail. But man loves China. We can fluent in Chinese.
Oh my god.
Our man loves China. He's fluent in Chinese. He said sorry.
He said sorry.
He said sorry.
I wanted to give him a bit more than that.
Yeah.
It was a big symbolic thing.
Okay.
It was a big symbol. Yeah, it was a big symbolic thing. Great. Yeah, cool.
So he wasn't able to get into Fine. He's still on Class Trader tier.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Fair worked. Unfortunately, although it was a step in the right direction, by no means was it anything to dissolve you of being a class trader.
I'd give him a Class Trader with like an asterisk, because like you're not with them exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, yeah, it was notable that Labour did not like him like at all. The rest of Labour.
Get those leadership disputes from nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Julia Gillard, another class trader.
A result of and victim of those leadership disputes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, came into power due to Labour ousting Kevin Rudd. Or was it the other way around? Did Kevin Rudd come into power from ousted?
Both.
Oh, both. Okay. Oh, man.
She got into power after him.
Yeah.
And he got into power again for a short time after her.
Gotcha. Jeez. Yeah, her main thing, carbon tax, I guess.
Not implemented.
Yeah,
we
not
live in a mistake
implemented.
country.
Did a bit of work with NDIS and actually some good things with disability service. Well, by good, I mean making it better than like the dismal state that it was in. But
Hooray, I love to make things less crap.
yeah, exactly. But apart from that, still a class trader, still labor optics and labor politics. So, yeah.
This is the, sometimes these are the best you can get from reformism. Which is why, dropping the act for a second, this is why we are not reformists.
Yeah, analyzing these categories, it's like every labor politician is a class trader, every liberal politician is a crypto fascist. Speaking of which, we are entering the meme zone with 2013 to 2015 with Tony Abbott sitting comfortably in the crypto fascist category.
Personally, it's my belief that Tony Abbott, like, I can't fully hate him because you can't hate something that isn't human. He cannot find himself to be human.
It was the first time that I was embarrassed to be Australian having him as Prime Minister.
Oh, yeah, his...
I mean, I've been embarrassed to be Australian for a lot of things, but because of who was representing us, it was definitely, like, Tony Abbott was definitely one that sticks out.
Seeing him supposedly represent our country, like,
Yeah.
just do crazy things, say crazy things, and just... It was embarrassing, but, of course, the way to drop that embarrassment is to remember, like, oh, no, he does not represent me.
Yeah.
I am not him, and I am not the kind of people he represents, really.
Yeah.
Super racist anti-immigration policies with stopping the vote, vile reactionary. They called him the Mad Monk because he was like,
He's a Christo-fascist.
Yeah.
He needs his own tier, just like...
Yeah.
Christo fascist.
Yeah, we've got crypto-fascists, we need Christo-fascists just for him.
Oh yeah, Christian. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it was so bad that the New South Wales court had to make a ruling on whether or not calling him a certain phrase that we won't say on this podcast
Starts with a C.
was counted as offensive conduct.
Offensive contact towards PMs is it's a legal offence. Calling him a certain word, totally fine. That's not offensive conduct. You're allowed to do that. The only just unequivocally fun and enjoyable thing that Tony Abbott did, everyone loved this. He ate a raw onion.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, ate a raw onion.
That was great.
Great. Yeah, the time when entertainment and optics really took us a hold, and yeah, boy, did he have a go at that.
That was the spectacle in full force, and I was held.
Next up, we got Liberal, not because of a leadership spill, but because the Australian public decided to vote them in again. We got Malcolm Turnbull.
Malcolm
Um,
Turbo Fashion.
Another certified crypto fascist. His big thing, same-sex marriage. There was a referendum and became effectively legalized and decriminalized across the country. And yeah, great that it happened under him. Took a lot of credit for it, even though he fought.
Resisted it the whole way.
Resisted it the whole way. And his only redeeming quality is that he wasn't as bad as Tony Abbott, but still pretended to care and saved same-sex marriage. Republic, the environment did nothing. Fought Julia Gillard's carbon tax scheme, denied climate change, all the rest of it. So yeah.
Yeah, he had a quote saying something to the effect of, I will not head a government that denies climate change, then did very little to nothing about climate change. Yeah, cool, great stuff. Great stuff, Turnbull. Crypto-fascist Scott Morrison, oh boy.
Scott Morrison, yeah, kind of keeping company with Tony Abbott with the Christo-Fascist Crusader category. Let's, Scotty from marketing.
I hope you've been paying attention to Australian politics. If we have nothing special to say about Scott Morrison, we hope he speaks for himself.
Yeah, shit himself at McDonald's.
He should have done McDonald's. What can we say? He's just... Who let him anywhere near a microphone, let alone politics?
It was one of the key players in a Robodebt scandal where you will get an email saying you owe the Australian government $10,000. Caused 80 deaths in Australia. Didn't get any repercussions for that.
Oh, and then of course he caused more deaths with his COVID response.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, horrendous COVID response. Too little, too late. It was actually up to our state leaders to actually do anything about it. So that was kind of the thing happening.
Yeah, if your state handled it anywhere near well enough, send a letter to your premier. Maybe say thanks. They were left alone.
Mark McGowan's a fucking snake. He's not getting a letter from me.
Okay, not Mark McGowan.
What else? Yeah, just didn't get prosecuted for a huge fraud scandal when he was on the board of tourism as well.
Shocking.
Yeah, and just your typical liberal crypto-fascist, reactionary politics, disgusting conservative worldviews, things like that.
If we've forgotten to mention like what category we gave a liberal politician, it's crypto-fascist.
Yeah. Actually, let's scroll through. What's the most generous we were to a liberal?
We almost gave Harold Holt fine.
We almost gave him fine.
Ooh, yeah, I think I pushed for fine just because he had that funny quote about like, a PM's not going to drown, right?
Okay, yeah, no, they are all in fact crypto-fascists.
They are all not good.
Yeah. Or not good. Yeah. Arguably worse or better. I don't know, depending on what we meant by not good.
Not good. I think the tier was actually not good exclamation.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So that was worse. Yeah.
That's worse.
Yeah. And that leads us to the present day with Anthony Albanese.
He's
a man
really
who
boring.
Grew up in public housing, who, a man for the workers, but still loves the American submarines. So, yeah.
Yeah, he officially commenced AUKUS. Scott Morrison started it, but I don't need to give ScoMo much credit for that if Albanese is going to do nothing about it and let us, not let us continue with it, but actively commence it and continue it himself. It becomes, it's his bag now.
I think we got him as useless, but I think we were coming in because we didn't expect anything from him. But I think by principle, I think he's a class traitor.
Oh, of course. He's a liberal politician, so he is a class traitor by default.
There we go.
He's useless. He's useless for moving our climate target to net neutral by 2050.
Yeah. All right.
Can't call him useless for commencing AUKUS because if you keep it up for that long, it must be your plan. He's just a standard neoliberal Labour politician. It's a wonder Labour ever wins because they stand for nothing. Class traitor used.
Yes, jeez. It's absolutely spineless. So, there we have it. That was every single Australian Prime Minister. So, you never need to read a book on Australian history ever again.
No, please do.
We have told you everything you need to know. Two of them were okay.
Yeah, we had there's one fine, two we say we could fix. That's the best tier we could give. Yeah. There's none good here. Really, just
nothing good.
The conclusion that we can take from this, from like what we've done, and like hopefully if you've been listening, what you can take from this is just we've never had any politician, let alone any PM, that really represents the working class.
No.
We've never had one that's. We've hardly ever had one that's been a net positive for like Australia as a whole. Every one of them has.
And every single progressive prime minister is like, oh, cool, you are following the trajectory of history. Like, we're keeping in step with every single other country. Well, with America, what America is doing.
Oh, but even then, it's like, okay, you can have your social reforms and you can have all these goods at the price of taking part in imperialism, of course.
Yeah. Parliamentarianism. Not good.
Failed project.
Yeah, just...
I renounce my reformist ways. This is character growth.
Exactly.
This is character growth. In conclusion, we hate these people with, like, two exceptions. read a book. Thank you very much.
We'll see you later.